The tragic events of Marikana are back in the spotlight as miners continue to face off with Sibanye Stillwater mine and President Ramaphosa over the Marikana massacre. The massacre claimed 34 lives on the 16th of August 2012. Almost a decade later, and workers are seeking justice in a virtual hearing at the Gauteng High Court. Just over 300 miners are challenging the president in his personal capacity. The applicants allege that the emails the president sent during the strike action set the wheels in motion for the deadly police response on that fateful day. SABC News reporter today, for the first time, joins us in studio, Canny Maphanga. A very good morning to you, Canny. Just tell us what this court action is all about and how it separates itself from the outcomes of the Farlam Commission.
Good morning to you, Desiree, and the viewers at home.
Nice to have you in studio, by the way.
Thank you for having me. So as you may know, this case stems from close to a decade ago with those tragic events of August 2012 in the Northwest. Now, the focus has always been on these 34 miners that were mowed down on that tragic day, their widows who can be held accountable by the state. And often what gets left behind, Desiree, is those just over 300 miners that lived to see that tragedy, that lived through it, can tell us today what they went through, how badly they were hurt by that tragedy. So today, this is what that case is about. As you may know, those papers, a massive bundle of papers was filed in 2015 to hold private capital, if I could phrase it that way, accountable for their alleged role.
Which the president was at that time.
Yes, he was a director and shareholder at Lonmin, which was then known as Lonmin, which is now Sibanye Stillwater. So what we're seeing now is that justice looks different for everybody in those tragic events. As you may remember in the commission, the Farlam Commission, it was Advocate who highlighted these emails that were sent by President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity. At the time, he was director and shareholder. And in those emails, there's a specific line where the allegation is that he characterized that strike action as something that could have been perceived allegedly as criminal activity. Then there was that line that concomitant action must follow. Now it is based on that specific line or that alleged instruction that this lawsuit is taking place. Now, obviously at the Farlam Commission, the president was cleared. He did say that those words meant appropriate action. But it's the miners' contention that those words...
As a result of those words,
yes,
we're now where we are.
That is what led to the means of violence that occurred on that day. It is their allegation before the court that in that sentence, pressure was exerted on key role players to bring that matter to a finality, and how they brought it to a finality was through that means of violence. So justice looks different for everybody, and in them seeking justice, they are going for that reconciliatory approach where they are seeking...
What would they like to see happening?
They are seeking an unconditional apology from private capital, and that includes President Ramaphosa in his personal capacity, as well as I understand about 1 billion in damages. As you may know, it's not unknown for people that have gone through such tragedies to seek that form of reparations. We've seen it happen in Life is Dimini as well, so it's not a strange phenomenon for that to be asked for, but this is what justice looks like for them.
It's going to be a virtual process, and there's always concerns about the ability of people who are in that sector, miners at that level, to be able to access the information, access the details of the process. What is being done in this regard to ensure that all the 300 miners are in the loop in terms of what's happening?
Well, those 300 miners are represented by attorney Andrew Skome. You may know him. He works a lot on these social justice cases. You may remember him from Fees Must Fall as well. As well as Advocate So we do understand that after the virtual proceedings, they do give a brief to the miners, which is why sometimes outside the High Court, there is some sympathizers and some miners who will wait for that debrief. What we understand is that in the last, it started on the 2nd of June, so in the virtual hearing then, Advocate Chengov speaking on this, what is the meaning of this concomitant action and how can it be conceived, and what inferences could one draw from that sentence. They're stating that in those 3 emails that have been highlighted, the argument on behalf of the respondents is that that does not constitute anything illegal, and you could never draw the inference that that was an instruction to allegedly murder the miners, as well as to say that one legal action leads to the other, i.e. the emails led to the other, is an extraordinary allegation to make.
So I want to ask you, what are the chances of success for the miners?
Well, it's difficult to say at this stage because those papers, a massive bundle, was initially filed in 2015. We know that the courts, we haven't usually seen large damages being awarded by courts before, but this is what they're seeking and this is the bid that they're making, and it's difficult to tell at this stage how successful they are, but we know that for the miners, this is what justice will look like for them.
Yeah. And of course, we hope you will bring us developments as they unfold. But thank you so much for coming into studio to give us an update on this. In fact, I want to ask our viewers as well, because it's an interesting case, especially the timing as well. So just let us know at the agenda_SABC what your thoughts are about this development, those 300 miners approaching the courts and seeking justice. Canny, thank you so much.